Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. We're going to talk about Facebook. Facebook is falling apart according to The Byte. Facebook is completely falling apart. They're saying it's Hunger Games meets Lord of the Flies over there, where everyone is trying to prove their worth to management. Oh my God, people actually have to prove their value to their employers to keep their jobs. What kind of savage company is this? We're going to talk about this. I cannot believe this company is now expecting results. It is about damn time that Silicon Valley had its day of reckoning, and I think we're going to call it a day of reckoning with a W because, yeah, like a freaking wrecking ball came through Silicon Valley, smashing a lot of jobs that were not even essential jobs, non-essential jobs. A lot of people, working for companies and basically getting paid to have vacations, all the time. Luxury meals, massages, et cetera, et cetera. I think last time I did a video talking about Facebook. They were complaining about the massages being taken away. We saw what happened with Twitter, and that sort of set off the dominoes, didn't it? That Elon Musk came into Twitter, bought Twitter for $44 billion, and immediately started laying people off, firing people, because he's like, yeah, we don't need you. I'm looking at what you do, and you don't do much. You're just a waste of space, and you're collecting a paycheck. You're a freaking parasite. And there are a lot of parasites working in tech companies that, they're collecting fat checks and really only maybe 10% of the company is actually doing any real work. I've worked at companies like this, unfortunately. And, when there's lots of monopoly money floating around, lots of free money, easy money, you're going to have people taking advantage of that situation, and it's over. It's all over now. And Facebook is definitely hunkering down, trying to survive. Twitter, again, laid off a bunch of people. We could argue whether or not they laid off the right people, whether or not Musk broke the site. But the fact of the matter is you're going to have to perform if you want to stay in Silicon Valley. And tech layoffs are not letting up. Tech was very bloated. And we're going to see a lot of people getting laid off. A lot of digital journos, I think, are next. A lot of them, because I'm telling you, as someone who runs websites, the ad rates are not good. And it's not sustainable for them to be paying these people what they're paying them, and to have them sit on their websites and complain about the lack of diversity and inclusion in Super Mario Brothers or whatever. They can't afford to pay for that kind of stuff anymore. So we're going to talk about, before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Definitely give us a sub if you like the content. We do talk about tech. We talk mostly about pop culture. We've been talking a lot about tech, though, because it does intersect with pop culture, and it's getting gutted. And we're going to see a lot of streaming sites get gutted and a lot of crazy stuff going on here in the next couple of months for sure. But, what's interesting about it is a lot of people think the worst of the layoffs have already occurred, but these companies are still laying off. And you know why they're doing that, right? They're laying off because they realize they have a surplus of non-essential idiot workers, people that frankly don't bring anything to the table. And this is their opportunity to get rid of them. Having worked as management before, you'll usually look at a situation when you come into a new job or you're given a task by your superiors, be like, hey, look at the people working underneath you. Who can go? Who can stay? Who's essential? Who's non-essential? And there might be some people, and I suspect there are a lot of people working at companies like Facebook who are a complete pain in the ass. Whether they're, activists or they're just not doing their job, or, they talk too much on TikTok or whatever. And we've had cases that literally Facebook was paying somebody $190,000 a year to bitch about Facebook on TikTok, and didn't do anything and got gone. But they're going to take the opportunity to look at who's working for them and be like, oh yeah, hey, we can toss these people overboard. We've been meaning to get rid of them for years, but we knew they'd go running to Twitter and complain about the company and bash the company and whatever. But hey, even Twitter's laying people off. So everybody in Silicon Valley is just like tossing all these people overboard And I'm sorry if you lost your job. I'm sorry if you actually did your job and you got caught up in this net, but the hits keep on coming. So let's talk about Facebook. This is actually coming from the New York Times. Mass layoffs and absentee bosses create a morale crisis at Meta. The Byte has a shortened version of it. They're saying it's the Hunger Games. As it turns out, firing nearly 30% of a workforce over the course of just 6 months isn't exactly great for worker morale. According to a report from the New York Times, the MetaMates, who have survived Meta, formerly Facebook's recent workforce cullings, roughly 26,000 jobs in total, are struggling to navigate a work culture plagued by mass firings, cost cuts, and absentee bosses. I don't even know what the hell Facebook is now. I have no idea what Facebook is. It's basically, it's end stage MySpace at this point. So many of the employees feel like they're in limbo right now. Aaron Summer, who was laid off from Facebook in November, told the New York Times, they're saying it's the Hunger Games meets the Lord of the Flies, where everyone is trying to prove their worth to management. Who gets to be Piggy? No cereal. No cereal? Though Silicon Valley has been hit with one mass layoff after another, Meta seems to have had a particularly rough time, with its stock sliding 43% from where it was 19 months ago, according to the report. In response to his company's woes, Mark Zuckerberg, who notably pivoted away from the metaverse to focus on generative AI to appease investors, pivoted away from the metaverse, it's called Meta for God's sake, has taken to call on 2023 Meta's year of efficiency, a mission characterized by leaner teams and broader cost cutting. I think Yahoo had one of those years of efficiency. I think MySpace had a year of efficiency. Tumblr had a year of efficiency. They were so efficient, they shed almost $1 billion in value, I think. I think they sold for like $1 billion to Verizon, and then they got sold for like $3 million. Very efficient at losing money. The efficiency is seemingly making a huge mess of the company's operations. Oh, poor Facebook. Poor Facebook. Per the New York Times, scared workers are being asked to justify their roles while struggling to make themselves look busy to navigate what one unnamed employee described to the paper as a cutthroat environment. Raise your hand if you know who's getting fired, one employee reportedly wrote in an engineer chat room earlier this month. As quoted by the New York Times, fire emoji if you think it's a dumpster fire, a message that was immediately bombarded with fire emojis. Meta's other cost cuts have employees less than thrilled, with internal chat rooms reviewed by the New York Times showing workers frustrated by a recent lack of in-office cereal. What? Oh my God, what will they do without the fucking cereal? Without the fucking Captain Crunch? What are you gonna do? Unstocked kitchens? How barbaric. And downgraded cafeteria options. Meanwhile, workers also seem pretty pissed that most of the firm's top executives who live all over the world are never in the office. Yeah, because they know they're gonna get lynched. In any case, well, some might argue that no cereal is a far cry from the Hunger Games. Working at Meta does sound pretty miserable these days. Oh my God. Oh my God. So this is coming from a Global Village Space, talking about how Zuckerberg is absolutely cracking the whip on people. So that people are trying to look busy even if they're not actually busy. Some employees are actually trying to make themselves look busier, which has made people more possessive about their work and meant less collaboration with coworkers. The first two rounds of layoffs largely affected business and recruiting teams. The cuts expected this month will be the first to affect tech departments and engineers. Insiders expect engineering cuts to the teams inside WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook. Employees have created memes and inside jokes about how much time workers have left. And in messaging groups and workplace chats in recent weeks, they've been using skull and bones emojis to signal to one another they may be part of the layoffs. Those remaining have griped about reduced bonuses and perks, including no more cereal. The company is also cutting back on some of its lavish perks once considered necessary to attract top talent. Meta ended its free laundry service for employees and pushed dinner service later into the evening. How very dare they? Workers complained they're cutting back on amenities and the cafeteria options had gone downhill. Cafeteria options have gone downhill, guys. Employee travel expenses are also being scrutinized more closely, and workers have been asked to cut down on non-essential travel. Like any other company in any other industry at any other time. Yeah, the free money's run out, guys. The free money's run out. I guess Zuckerberg's like lurking in the chats, and they were dunking on Zuckerberg, and he was actually hanging out in the chat room too. God. So yeah, it's going to get pretty bad. And I think if you've got a bunch of people that are complaining about losing the free cereal, they're easy cuts. Like, wait, that's what you're worried about. That's what you're worried about. Our company is bleeding out money, and you're worried about your bowl of fucking Captain Crunch. That's what you're worried about. According to TechCrunch, over 168,000 workers have been let go by tech companies so far just in 2023, which already exceeds the total number of workers laid off in 2022. Some of the companies that previously engaged in layoffs decided to let go more of their workers in an effort to better align their workforce with business goals. Yes, to make sure they have the right people doing the right jobs to make the company money and not bitching about cereal or bitching about how, oh my God, I only get paid $190,000 a year and I don't do anything at Facebook. Let me go to TikTok and complain about it. Oh my God, they took the massages away. Seriously. So yeah, they're going to use this opportunity to get rid of people like that. I think if you're a good worker, I think if you can justify your existence, that's what Musk was asking people at Twitter to do, I think you'll be fine. And if you do get laid off from one of these companies, if you're good at what you do, you'll be fine. You can go work someplace else. Go work for a smaller company that actually can see what you do. Because a lot of times what happens is they'll lay off like entire departments and they don't see what you specifically do. They look at what the entire department's doing, and if the entire department's not pulling their weight, they just cut everybody loose. So go work someplace that smaller staff, you know, where your personal contributions can have a spotlight shown upon them. That would be my advice, you know, for whatever it's worth. And again, at the end of the day, if you're good at what you do, I don't think you're going to have to worry long term. I really don't think you're going to have to worry. This is a necessary culling. This is getting rid of the dead brush. This is a cleansing fire. And the tech industry will be much more sustainable after the smoke clears. I guarantee it. I'm going to wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later. Help support the channel. Go to thereef.support and get early access to podcasts, videos, and other content. That's thereef.support.